thank you for that
There
generous.
you go.
I think that's the best
Go
introduction.
yours.
Now
Go
I'm embarrassed.
There you go.
I really appreciate that. Thomas More is actually the patron saint of attorneys. I know a couple of you might be from law school, I understand, and he is the patron saint of law. I love history, and I love American history and ancient history, and I also love English history. I don't know if any of you saw the Tutors that Showtime put on, and it was a wonderful, real display of that history and the drama of it. And I always thought to myself about Thomas More. You know, you talk about negotiations. He was the chancellor to King Henry VIII. And the whole reason that he lost his head is he refused to sign a piece of paper that basically would concede that the King of England superseded the word of the Pope and the issue of the annulment of his marriage to Catherine of Aragon. And I have to admit, it's a real interesting question for yourself. Would you sign a piece of paper and save your head, or go to the tower and lose your head on such principle? I mean, it is amazing what a great man Thomas More was on principle. And I have to say, I don't know what I would do. I mean, when you think about how much we value life, you think, when I was watching that on the Tutors, I says, come on, Thomas More. You know, you want to change history when you watch one of those true history movies. Just sign the piece of paper and don't die. But you know, he didn't. So being compared to Thomas More is over the top. But I love Thomas More. Now, how do I turn this? Right here? Is that on? All right. I am not a tech guy, but I'm a trial lawyer. Just so you know a little bit more about me, I have tried more cases than any plaintiff's lawyer in the state of Kentucky over the past 10 years. If you take my criminal cases and the cases that I try in Ohio, I know I've tried more cases than any lawyer over the last 10 years in the tri-state. What you see dressed here is not very much like a lawyer. I pride myself on being an anti-lawyer. I have a lot of lawyer friends, but I'm a farm boy at heart. I will not wear a suit unless I got to go to court. Now, I'm not an idiot. When I go to a wedding, I wear a suit. When I go to certain events, I wear a suit. Talking to college kids, I didn't think you'd mind I didn't wear a suit. I generally am probably one of the most unpretentious lawyers you'll ever find. Lawyers are egomaniacs. Do I have an ego? Sure, I have an ego. But my style is very different than most lawyers you're going to meet. Now, what I'm going to go through here with you is an outline that I put together 2 years ago. I found it, and I think I improved upon it, and I did it without a PowerPoint presentation. But the point that I was trying to make about all that trial work is it's scientifically proven that you all will remember more if you're a jury, 85% when you see something versus it just being spoken. It's also been proven, I used to walk around the courtroom like this, ranting and raving. It was scientifically proven that if you stay in one place and speak, it's more effective. Barack Obama, and I don't mean to bring up politics, okay? But it's been proven if you don't read your speech, people pay attention more. So I don't like using cheat sheets. But the bottom line is that I've put this together for the first time. You're the first ones I get to test it on, about negotiations. And I hope you enjoy it. And I want all of you to know that if you email me at eric@ericdeters.com, I'll send you a copy of it. You may or may not want that. By the way, self-promote, if I can ever help you in any way, email me at eric@ericdeters.com. I will respond within 24 hours. Will Rogers, the great American humorist, not from your generation, but he was one funny guy. He was the Jon Stewart of his day. He said when two people meet, a deal is going down. And that is true. There are negotiations going on throughout this campus every day for dates, for homework, for helping somebody out. Two people meet, a deal's going down. He also said something I think is one of the funniest lines of all time. The only honest politician is one who's bought and stays bought. I get a kick out of that one. This is my favorite quote of all time. It hangs, this is funny. I have it on my bathroom wall over the men's toilet in my law office. And I did it there for a reason. I wanted my opposing counsel when they're in my office taking a deposition of one of my clients, when he went to the restroom, that he would see this on the wall. And I got it framed nice and simple. And I apologize, it's from Al Capone. I'm a big Sopranos, Godfather Mafia fan. Not what they kill. I like mafia that doesn't kill people, okay? Al Capone, of course, was not that tight. By the way, I highly recommend Boardwalk on HBO. You get more of the kind word and a loaded gun than a kind word alone. If you remember one thing out of this class tonight, remember that quote. You can apply that quote to every single bit of your negotiations, no matter what you're negotiating. I can break it down to asking a girl out on a date. When you ask a girl out on a date and you ask her nicely, or do you have something to offer her that she wants? The loaded gun. You know? Whatever the situation might be. This is the key to negotiations, because in negotiations, metaphorically, if you have a loaded gun, which means you got something, you can negotiate from strength. If you don't have a loaded gun, you do not. Ronald Reagan got this, for example, politically. Russia. If you are a student of history, Russia is an aggressive country, aggressive people. You cannot negotiate with weakness with Russia. And in fact, geopolitically, and there's negotiations going on all the time. Think of the treaty. A treaty is a negotiation. It has to be from strength. It has to be from strength. If not, you're not going to get as much. If you have a loaded gun, you're negotiating from strength. It's that simple. In a case, let me give you an example. If I have a case, and a lot of my cases are in the news, most of them aren't. If I have a case where a prominent physician sexually harassed his nurse, okay? And that nurse calls me and I become her attorney. And I contact the lawyer for that prominent physician. And I say, here's what happened. Here's the evidence. Do you want to resolve this case now? Or once we file it, it hits the news, yada, 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 yada. It's strength. If the case is weak, you don't have strength. Now in business, I know this is a business class. In business, it's the same thing. If you have something to offer in a contract negotiations, let's say you are a website maker and you want somebody's business. What do you have to offer them? What is your loaded gun? Price, quality of work, service. You've got to have an angle. Or are you just like everybody else? There are about 10, if you took a circle in the tri-state of lawyers, and I'm talking about you go as far south as Grant County, and you go north to Butler County, and you go over to Indiana, and you go over to Highland County, there are about 10,000 lawyers in that area. You're competing with, now lawyers have different, what is my angle for a client? Well, here's what I would offer. I have to offer things to clients that those other lawyers can't offer. You have to have some type of a loaded gun. If you do not have a loaded gun, you are negotiating from weakness. Now there's techniques to use from that. This is, by the way, these are random principles I'm going to go over with you. In negotiations, this is one of the biggest mistakes that are made. Do not overplay your hand. Bad things happen. At the radio station, okay, and I wouldn't talk about this if it didn't make the newspaper. Eddie Fingers, one of our radio personalities, just had his contract renewed. He overplayed his hand. What did he do? It is a buyer's market right now, and it is a station control market right now because of the problems in the radio industry. He was asking for little nitpicky things instead of just signing the contract that was handed to him. He overplayed his hand. The case that I just made up about the prominent physician sexual harassment, As soon, if that physician says, forget about it, and you file the lawsuit, and it becomes public, they lose all incentive. Once you file a lawsuit, they lose all incentive because it's now public. The fear of publicity is the gun. I see more mistakes overplaying your hand. Give me an example. The insurance companies right now are in bad shape in my business. If you are too tough in negotiations and they say, forget about it, we're not going to settle, we're going to defend this case, overplaying your hands. In a business deal, let's say you're supplying a service to a company and you can make a lot of money at 10 cents profit, but you want 12 cents profit. And you miscalculate what that does on the other end and overplay your hands and you lose a client over 2 cents. Always keep that in mind. Don't overplay your hand. Who you're negotiating with makes a difference. In my business, who the lawyer is on the other side makes all the difference in the world. Businesses out there, and I'm a businessman too. I'm one of the owners of Snappy Tomato Pizza. I hope you've had the pizza. I hope it was good. And we own Wendy's and BP's. Well, we're in business. And I can tell you right now, different suppliers like Presto supplies our pizza. La Rosa's, they supply La Rosa's, and they supply us. We're their second biggest customer. Are we in a position of strength with Presto? Hell yes, we are. We can say we need more. Sometimes you're on the wrong side of that. Who you're negotiating with makes a difference. Personality, the company, the insurance. I can tell you right now, Liberty Mutual in my business is a pain in the ass to negotiate with an insurance company. They're the toughest. Small, out-of-town insurance companies are the most generous. I know which lawyers who are on the other side will pay me money and which ones I'm going to have to try the case. You always got to know who you're negotiating with. The economy and other factors make a difference. Anybody wants to own a restaurant and bar, I will give them either Bulldogs, one at the Levy and Independence. Why? The economy is killing the casual dining business. I mean, it is just a tough business. The economy and other factors. It could be weather. Here's a business that's a bad business. Mother Nature can affect. Try operating a softball field, and then you have a rainy summer. It could be devastating. But these are all factors that you have to factor in. Sometimes you have to live for another day. Sometimes you got to eat crow and maybe get it next time around. Never forget that. Here's an example. There are some times when a judge has pissed you off. Am I allowed to say piss and ass in the college still? No. You're allowed to say it on radio. A judge will make you so mad, and you want to just, gosh dang. And what do? Well, you know you got to be in front of that judge on another case. So you got to bite your tongue. Same thing with an insurance company. Sometimes you live to another day.